I know most people aren't YouTubers or intentionally put themselves out there, but I felt like this story had a lesson in it that everyone could benefit from. Back in the day, there was this little trend on YouTube called parkour. During my senior year, I was obsessed with watching these videos. I'd even go as far as to wear the fashion at the time, which was like XL baggy pants, t-shirts, and it was a little odd. Vlogging was also pretty big on YouTube at the time, so I had just become enraptured in this world of content creation that I thought I kind of wanted to start making my own videos. But I didn't know anything about editing. Like, I was using Windows Movie Maker at the time, and for anyone who's old enough to have used that, you know how many headaches that program caused. Like, the idea that you could work on a project for 2 or 3 hours and then the whole thing would just get corrupted. Like, the saves wouldn't even, I don't even want to think about it. Another thing that was really popular at the time was a genre of music called dubstep. I feel like I'm really outing myself here. Now, I want to add that I wasn't really interested in becoming a content creator per se. The perception of YouTube back then is very different from how it is now. Back then, it was much more of a hobby, and now, you know, people look at it as a career. So senior year me was completely blindsided when he received a comment from a completely random stranger that basically said something along the lines of, "Do some real moves out on concrete. By the way, the music sucks." And this was the only comment on this video for years. I kind of regret it now. Unfortunately, I deleted the video, probably because that was the only thing. It was just this horrible reminder that I had in my head. And I mean, he's not wrong. It was pretty bad. Granted, you know, I had no experience editing or making content, so it was going to be bad. Everyone's first projects are usually not great. And at the time, I had internalized it in a way of like, it was somehow constructive. Oh, okay, the next video, the tricks need to be better, and I can't use this genre of music. Instead of just realizing it wasn't that big of a deal. This person was just being a jerk, and I didn't need to take him seriously. It took me many years to learn this lesson, and honestly, it took big creators, celebrities, becoming more transparent with their own lives, because for the longest time, it was very normal for, it still kind of is, if you are a popular individual, you have an image to uphold. And that usually means that any sort of weakness or normal human attribute has to sometimes be covered up. For example, like caring about what other people think. You always hear all the time, hey, don't worry about what other people think, but for some of us, it bothers us. It bothers me for sure. So when I hear someone who allegedly is like, you know, they're such a maverick and they don't care about anyone's opinion, and they're very open about the fact that they do, and the mean stuff that they hear actually hurts, that makes me feel a little bit more normal, if that makes sense. And unfortunately, the only solution to this is for you to change how you react to the behavior versus trying to change the world per se. So what I mean by that, you should go into every endeavor with the expectation that you're going to receive some kind of opposition to it. And this is actually a good thing, because if people are indifferent to the things that you do, then that means that it's not having any sort of hit or impact. And that doesn't necessarily relate specifically just to being a public figure, but also in the ideas that you suggest, or, you know, the things that you share amongst your group of friends. If you receive pushback for something, it means you have a strong opinion. And it doesn't mean that you're right necessarily. A great attribute to have is the ability to look inward and go, maybe I am wrong. Maybe the criticism is warranted. But for the most part, if it's coming from strangers, the easiest thing to do is just ignore it. I mean, it's easier said than done, but that is the best thing to do. There's so many times, like, have you ever gone into a comment section of a video and the creator is just in there replying to all of the negative comments? It's like, dude, why are you wasting your time with this? You made an impactful piece of content, because that's obviously why people are replying. And I mean, there's a whole thing about making negative stuff, and that's a different rabbit hole. But if you are in there replying to negative comments, like, just focus on making something else. Like like I was saying, you made something impactful. Just continue down that train of thought. Like, make something else. Follow up to it. Sometimes we forget. We have no idea who's on the other side. There is no law dictating what sort of mental state you have to be in order to publicly share your opinion. Like, there could be people with the worst mental health issues that are messaging you right now who have no idea who you are, and you don't know who they are. So it's like, why put any stock into that? And the important thing is to embrace whatever moves you that you want to share. I mean, there is no winning in this. To give you a really depressing example, just think of, there are people who are really mean to animals. And like, animals are completely innocent. They don't do well, except my cat. I mean, this is part of the reason why I'm such a huge Gaga fan, because while there's a part of me that's like really embarrassed about the stuff that I'll share online sometimes, I have her on my other shoulder going, dude, just be who you are. Share whatever you're feeling or thinking. Because back in the day, I don't know if you guys remember, but she was kind of like, what she was doing was a little weird. All right, back then, it kind of made me uncomfortable. And I realized it made me uncomfortable because there's a part of my inner self, I guess, being uprooted, my insecurity. So now I have a really deep appreciation for that. I'm just like, you know what? I only get to live once, and everyone is going to complain about something I do. Well, not everyone, that's an exaggeration. Someone is going to complain. So who cares? Has my perspective or behavior jeopardized some of the relationships I could have been in or jobs I could have gotten? I don't know. I hope so. Maybe, because at the end of the day, like, just filter out everything you don't want in your life rather than waste your time. Imagine pretending to be someone else so that you can, I don't know, go on a date, and then having to suppress that for a certain amount of time until you can't anymore. And then suddenly there is this friction between you and that person, assuming you guys end up going further than just that one date. Yeah, that's a waste of time. Like, why are we doing this? I've heard this really crazy advice that actually makes a lot of sense. If you are on an online dating site, you should make your profile as goofy as possible, because you're probably going to get way less matches, but the people who do match with you are going to be pleasantly surprised when they meet you, and you're just like that, instead of putting up this facade of who you are. To me, it seems like a waste, and you're doing yourself a big favor by being real upfront. So now, looking back over a decade later, I am pretty grateful for receiving that comment. Not because it was constructive criticism, because it wasn't, but it taught me how to handle criticism and judge whether or not it was constructive. By the way, I took a break from streaming on Twitch for a while, and I'm thinking about getting back into it just because I really enjoy it. And if you guys ever just want to hang out, ask me questions about any of these stories, or just chat about something that's happening with you, I'd love to have you. So I'll put a link in the description and you can join me whenever that happens. I don't have a schedule at the moment. I just want it to be a fun thing rather than like I'm going to go hard in the paint, because it's not where it's at right now.